a show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on Jtv. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pier Park, NV Salon, Nail Spa and Barbershop, Tisley Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, and Digicel, simply more speed, reliability and entertainment.
Plug into Digicel Plus and get even more entertainment with Disney Plus included. The best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic all in one place. Whenever you want, plug into Plus to enjoy Disney Plus and much more with a home fiber bundle. Sign up today. Digicel Plus.
This is The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition. In studio with me are two fantabulous women here to talk about some really fun things that are happening this weekend. Ms. Brenda Letsamtai and the Permanent Secretary, Ms. Carolyn Stout Igwe. I was hoping that I remember the name properly. Welcome to The Big Story. How you ladies are doing this day?
Thank you for having us. We are doing wonderful.
Okay, and you're even more wonderful because you're doing the regular things that you do in your respective jobs, but you guys are out as part of a committee that is preparing for a big celebration that is happening this weekend here in the Virgin Islands. Kick it off and tell me all about it.
All right, we're still doing our regular duties plus this.
Oh. Double dose.
Yeah, so this weekend, Saturday, is the 50th anniversary of the celebration of BVI USVI Friendship Day. And let me just make the distinction. When it's being hosted in the BVI, it's BVI USVI Friendship Day. When it's being hosted in the USVI, it's USVI BVI Friendship Day. So that's a distinction. So we get the opportunity to host the 50th anniversary celebration. It started first in October 21st, 1972, and here on October 22nd.
So that's 50.
Yes, 2022, we have our Jubilee celebration. So we are celebrating this year under the theme, Brenda?
Just throw it on you, sir.
A resilient bond.
Of friendship.
Of friendship.
Yes.
A
resilient bond of friendship.
Okay.
Yes, so we have an exciting lineup on Saturday.
We do.
Okay, so before we reach to the lineup, I want to hear a little more about that theme, a resilient bond of friendship. We know that, yes, we're sister territories. We've been feeding into each other from the get-go of time, and hence that relationship. We have quite a number of the people from the Virgin Islands who now reside in the U.S. Virgin Islands and vice versa.
Right.
Tell us about that bond and that friendship that has been fostered over the years.
Well, many years ago, the older folks would tell you that Tortola fed St. Thomas.
Yes.
We had a lot of agriculture going on here. Very often, they would be back and forth selling goodies down on the wharf when they get down there. So there's been a lot of trade between both islands. And also, persons on Tortola, the older folks will tell you that a lot of our men went to work in Bournefield in St. Thomas because it was a place for employment for many of them. My father was one of those who went to work in Bournefield. So a number of Bournefield in St. Thomas.
Bournefield.
Yes. So a lot of persons have gone to work in the USVI. A number of our men also went to work in Canil Bay. A lot of our bartenders and a lot of those waiters, they got their training at Canil Bay. Eventually they returned back home, but USVI was an open door for many BVI landers to get employment many years ago, trade, families, a lot of families migrated. So over the years, there's been a bond between both territories.
and in the modern day friendship, how you see it?
It's still quite a friendship. I mean, I can talk to sports where we have our teams from the BVI who go over and have friendly games at the USVI. They come over and we do the same. It is in all the sports, in basketball, in softball, even volleyball, So it continues today. There's always, I know at Altair Scatliff School for many, many years, they used to have an annual exchange with the Olamala Elementary School where we would invite them over. And of course, we do things big. we do things big. And we would bring all the food. Oh, they love the corn pork. The boxes of corn pork that used to go back to the U.S. Virgin Islands. We exchange sports. We exchange culture. We exchange our music. So I would say that in modern day, that exchange, that sharing continues.
And we see it a whole lot especially with the music. Our guys and ladies do go bands. And individuals do go over so often for social events. We have that friendship when it comes to the sport of horse racing. That one is big. And then we have, what's the other one? There were three that I was remembering. The third one gone from sporting activities you usually say. Oh,
we just had
festivals.
I was going to say festival because our bands go down and their bands come up. But also the poker run that just happened. For the first time, it was the Greater Virgin Islands poker run. It wasn't just ours. They were involved as well.
Awesome. So we can expect really big things happening this one day, Saturday.
Yes.
Tell us or give us a rundown of what to expect.
Okay, so it is important for me to say that back in 1972, right? It was actually a proclamation that the governor issued where he asking for the territories to come together. So that was the official launch of Friendship Day. So over the years, the earlier part of the years, it used to be more of a formal nature with guard of honor and all that inspection. Since 2006, we've been more cultural. Yes. So we've had a lot of cultural activities. So on Saturday, I'll let Brenda talk about that because that's her area. She's coordinating that area. So I wouldn't steal her thunder. I'll let her deal with that.
We have quite a bit of cultural display, our Virgin Islands culture, which will be happening on Saturday. We have demonstrations, live demonstrations, including making of the traditional fish pot, making of a kilivan. Do you know what a kilivan is?
Kilivan.
You ever heard that term?
Embarrass me.
No, it's okay. I ask everybody.
Not all I know.
A kilivan is a device that we created to catch little birds. And back in the day, it's a kilivan. So we're going to demonstrate that as well. We have displays of the fish pots and the evolution, because we're talking for 50 years. So we're looking at the evolution of things, right? We also have a grand program planned. Of course, we must have a few official remarks in this, but we will be displaying our music. We will be displaying our dance. Heritage dancers will be there. We will be displaying our evolution of our spiritual music from the former slaves right down to the modern gospel that we have. We have some medley in it. We have quite the thing happening there. We also have an original poem which has been penned by the Honorable Eileen L. Parsons, OBE. And we have, which is the highlight, the ties that bind, the highlight. If anyone knows about Miss Janice Stout's plays, we know this is going to be the highlight. This is going to be the performance. And it's called, as in keeping with the theme, the ties that bind.
The ties that bind. Okay.
Binding ties.
Binding ties.
Binding ties.
Same thing. Lager words.
You're on the spiritual line. The ties that bind.
Binding ties. And I haven't read the script because I want to be surprised. I'm really looking forward to that performance. But again, it speaks to our relationship. Our foods are similar but different. You know, we will also be having what we call samples of our foods, little samples for the general public.
No, man. So we can't come get plate full.
It's sampling.
It's Saturday.
We're sampling all the
Yes, we shouldn't
foods.
want to cook. Got a whole big showcase of food that people could buy or just get free.
But we have to have enough for everybody to have
Everybody,
some. Everybody
So
gets some.
you sample.
You sample, you got
sam-
pea soup, you have cassava bread, you have sugar cake, you have.
Alright,
You can get
okay,
some of
belly.
everything.
Yeah, alright, belly gonna full.
Some of everything. And as I said, because our forefathers moved over to St. Thomas, some of the foods are similar. However, our twist on them is a little different. Yeah. So
okay.
it's our foods and our music similar but a little different. Similar but a little different.
There is a story behind Elegif Pantelet.
Yes.
It has a connection with BVI, USVI.
Yes.
In the days of prohibition.
In the days of prohibition.
Uh-huh.
But you know, we always focus on Ella Gift, but Ella Gift actually was
An activist. Really.
an activist for women's rights and voting rights and stuff in the U.S. Virgin Islands. But we only talk about her in the Pantelet over the side.
Yeah, man,
So-
Pantelet does catch your
Yeah, so-
attention. So we guess it now.
Yeah,
We got our guy gonna be
Brenda
there.
didn't read the script, but I read the script the other day, and it has in some good cultural aspects and stuff like that. So
Okay,
we can expect to get
Educated.
some good laughter as well as some good history in as well as
Nah,
you
that
listen to it.
means some seamstresses there sewing up some big panties.
And you talk about seamstresses, we want to remind persons that we want this to be a showcase of our territorial wear.
Beautiful.
I think if everybody knows that we have our fabric, but I think we have some of the most creative designs one can think about when it comes to our territorial wear. So we're going to have some of our school children. They are the cutest when they're in their territorial wear. We're encouraging parents to come out, everyone to come out, dress in your territorial wear. Or if you don't have a territorial wear, please come in territorial colors. So I'm not expecting to see any purples. I'm not expecting to see those colors. I want to see your territorial colors. We want a red or white
Yellow,
or greens or
green.
yellows or blues.
Yep.
Find something in one of
and
those
territorial
colors
colors.
and come.
Okay.
So that what you're wearing, Kathy, today, don't come down there in it on
Well,
Saturday.
I know you ain't gonna wash so fast.
So we want to make sure that people come in our territories because this is a day that we want to showcase. 50 years of friendship is something that should be celebrated.
Yes.
All right? We have a lot of people. You were born 50 years ago, Kathy?
just on the border right now. Just on the
see?
border. Switch it over to next year and a
Oh,
day.
and you'll be there. So it's very important for us to come and really celebrate. We have, Brenda talked about displays. Some of our artwork is going to be on display. And we are trying to feature all of our islands this year. So we have Anigada. We have the students we've invited students from all across the territory to be represented there. So we want it to be a grand occasion. Did you say steel pan? Did you mention steel pan?
Oh, the Elmer Stout Steel Pan will be serenading.
Yeah,
And you know,
okay.
we cannot have a cultural musical event without Fungi music.
Without Fuji music.
And the
Without
Muka
Fungi
Jumbies.
music.
And the
We're going to have
Mukas.
Muka. Oh! We have a mini
So
parade.
excited.
Yep, we have a mini parade that will be featured in the park for our guests, for the delegate, showing them a little taste of what we do. So we
Alright.
have the Muka Jumbies, we have a troupe, we have the steel pan. Come and see.
You have the social organizations as part of this as well.
Well, what we have extended the invitation to the social organizations, because what happened in the past is social organizations would usually host their counterparts on that day. So sometimes they would attend the ceremony sometime and then go to their own activities. Other times they would just not attend and they would just have a whole day of activities for their counterparts. So you're a member of Rotary, so I don't know what your Rotary Club is
You're
doing.
talking about my business now.
Oh, okay. But I know that some of them they've had discussions about it, so I'm hoping that they will do. Sometimes teachers in the past would also host their counterparts on this particular day. So we're hoping that that will be done. And as you were asking about traditionally what happened, because even with the churches, years ago they would have exchanges among the churches as well with different types of the year. You know, August, I remember the Wesley Brothers and United Sisters would come up for the Rotom Methodist Church. Then another point, Father's Day, we used to go down to St. Thomas. And then another point, they used to come up, like when it used to be harvest time, Cane Garden Bay Harvest in particular, used to be a bacchanal. Okay?
Man.
A bacchanal. Everybody would come up, and some of them used to forget they come to harvest. Then they came up to fete. But a lot of people used to come up. So those were the good old days that we really had a lot of camaraderie between the islands. But nevertheless, we still do it at different scales. So as you were talking about horse racing and stuff, in our booklet this year, we're going to be highlighting winners for horse racing and throughout the years.
Yes.
Some are featuring some of the pictures of some of the winning horses, as well as our softball players. We've had a number of softball players who are from the BVI, who have played in the USVI, from the USVI played in the BVI. So we are going to be featuring them in at least in a table format, and featuring a couple of them. We know we lost Terry Shinnery this year, who was an icon from down there and up here. So at least we're going to put in his picture to remember him. We also had Jerome Parsons, better known as Lala. He also played in the USVI from up here. So we want to at least highlight that this year in our booklet, in addition to some other historical facts.
As part of the on-the-ground program, of what we can sit around and experience, are we going to be hearing like storytellings and that stuff?
No, not
storytelling
really,
this
but the
year.
storytelling will come through the format of the poem. I'm sure you get some stories through that,
poem
as well as
and
through the skit.
through the skit.
That's when you get some.
Okay.
That's when you get some
Telling
of
the
that story,
story.
telling the story.
Okay. So how long you anticipate that these activities are going to last at
The program, I think Brenda has it well timed out, so maximum 2 hours. We have persons timed, and unless persons give or take a minute or two there and there, but it should be finished by about noon. And then we allow you to go around, sample, and as well as to view what is there.
So what happens for the rest of the day? We have our brothers and sisters, our friends over here for the day.
Right. So usually we have the public aspect of the day, and then we have the private aspect of the day. So usually the speaker will host a luncheon for the guests, because you can't just send them back. You bring them, you sit down for 2 hours. You can't just send them back on the boat without
that's what I
feeding
was
them.
wondering.
Right. So that is by invitation only, but that is usually hosted by the speaker of the house for decades now. That has been the tradition. And then at that luncheon is where we'll have exchanging of gifts. Governor will exchange to governor, governor exchange to premier, deputy premier exchange to lieutenant governor, Senate president exchange with speaker. All right? And then you would usually do their little toast and stuff like that. And then usually have a little bit of depends on what they have, a little dancing, a little entertainment. That's and that will close off the day, and then we bid them farewell.
Okay, y'all heard about how many boatloads coming over and planes and...
I don't know that we have an official delegation. If there are persons outside of that, that's a different story. But we know that we have the official delegation should be about 90.
Okay, yeah, so good markets coming.
Yes, yes, should be around 90 persons that we're expecting.
Okay, so in wrapping up, ladies, give a quick overview again as to why we're doing this, who should be at the Sir B. Romney Turtle Pier Park on Saturday.
9:45. Be there by 9:45.
For 10 o'clock start.
Yes.
Okay.
9:45. We start on time.
Because we want everybody in place.
Yes.
Because when we start to roll, we don't want any interruptions.
Okay.
So we're asking guests to be seated by 9:45. There'll be live musical entertainment, so it's not like you're going to be bored. There'll be musical entertainment as you arrive, and you'll have the opportunity. We're trying to get a frame so that people can capture the moment, a 50th anniversary frame, so you can capture the moment, because, listen here, this is a historical event, right? We know that we're here for the 50. You don't know if you're going to be here for the 60. So capture the moments when you can.
Celebrate while you can.
Celebrate while you can. So we want to make an appeal again to persons, inviting everyone to come out Saturday, October 22nd, 10 a.m., Cyril B. Romney, Tortola Pier Park. Be seated by 9:45 so that we can have everything ready to roll. Dress in your territorial wear. If you don't have your territorial wear,
wear a color.
Wear the territorial colors. I told people, find a head tie, get a bow tie, get a clip, get a something, a earring, something. But we representing,
Colours.
we representing the
colours.
VI
Yes.
on Saturday. This is
Awesome.
our opportunity to showcase a cultural showcase as we welcome our guests. 50 years of friendship. It is going to be great, and I want to just salute the committee. I have a hard-working committee.
Awesome.
All right, Dr. Lavonchawa Bruley is chairing the committee, but as permanent secretary, I have to coordinate, make sure that we have everything. So I'm working just as hard as them, but they're working very hard. So we have a committee working on the program, working on some logistics, keeping everything flowing. So I really want to salute the members of the committee. I won't call their names, but I'll make sure that their names are mentioned in the booklet, and to really thank them for their cooperation. And we're just looking forward to a grand time.
You just didn't want to forget the name and reach in trouble.
Yeah.
I realize. But Brenda, in closing, very often we have these events and all we see are the more mature audience. We seldom we see the parents bringing out the kids to these events. I looked at one that we had just the other day there in the Pier Park, where the all-female band from Trinidad
Yes,
was there.
on Friday.
And the people that had the most fun were the children. And they would have learned so much, you would have interacted in such a nice way. And this is an event to bring you closer to the culture of the Virgin Islands, and we don't need our kids to grow up without having a taste of that.
Right.
So your
Well,
appeal.
We have asked for at least 5 students from every school to attend. So we have 17 primary schools.
Okay.
So let's do the math there. And that doesn't include the high school students. So we have actually reached out through the education department and invited students to be a part of this historic event. And we've also invited them to come in their territorial gear, as the PSS said, because listen, those little children have the best costumes. They have the best designs when it comes to wearing that territorial wear. So we're
so
looking
true.
forward to seeing that visual display of our culture.
And I'm looking forward to see the mother and daughters and the fathers and sons, because those kids have those families do that,
Yes.
especially those in school when they have
Right.
these occasions where they celebrate, they dress alike.
Yes.
All right. So ladies, I want to thank you so much for taking time out to come and share with us as we celebrate a great friendship, BVI, USVI, and according to certain people, VI, USVI. And according to our other set of group, the Greater Virgin Islands and the USVI. Whichever way it is, we want to see you out there on Saturday at the Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pier Park to celebrate a great friendship. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition of The Big Story. Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Freeze. Choose your mix, choose your flavor.